Hey guys, it's about 3:30 in the morning here where I'm at, and I've doubled up, even tripled up on my insomnia meds. Nothing's working, so I figured I'd make a video for you guys since I need something to do till uh, daylight comes around. So in this video, it's going to be more of a discussion video about upcoming releases in 2015. I'm going to make a top 10, maybe not even 10, maybe 5. More than likely it'll be 10 though, of my top albums of 2015 so far at the end of June. So don't expect that video anytime soon because technically we are not halfway through 2015 yet. Um, in fact, we're only 9 days into May, even though it just feels like the year started uh, just the other day. So figured I'd make this video for you guys, but before I get into future albums for the year, I want to talk about albums that have already come out. And please keep in mind, I can only afford so much as I am only 17. I am only a teenager, but I get what I can. I'm trying to position this camera in a way that will stop the light from behind me from glaring so bad. So the first two albums I want to talk about were a double release. It's not really a double album, it's more like two album lengths full of material that make up one concept, and that's Juggernaut Alpha and Juggernaut Omega by Periphery. Juggernaut Alpha and Juggernaut Omega were a huge start to 2015, coming right at the tail end of January, and holy crap, were they a way to kick off the year. Periphery have always done something along the little more chaotic side of progressive metal, not using that in a bad way, or gent, if you want to call it that. I don't, personally. But Periphery's Juggernaut Alpha and Omega were really a step into more mature sound, while keeping that chaotic tone, however not going all over the place like they used to. So Juggernaut Alpha and Omega, great start coming into the tail end of 2015. This album actually just came out towards the tail end of last month, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it came out tail end of April. If not, it was the tail end of March. I honestly don't remember. Endless Form's Most Beautiful by Nightwish, and it was a great return for the Finnish symphonic metal legends. They've started with their third singer, Floor Jansen, in the Floor Jansen era, as I like to call it, after parting ways with Ed Olson. And I think this is personally a lot better than the two albums they put out with Ed Olson, Dark Passion Play and Imaginarium. Although I am still waiting for Imaginarium, the movie, to come to the U.S. Nightwish. Go on. But anyway, Endless Forms of Most Beautiful is a great showing of Floor's talents, and new members, Troy Donockley as well, on Uilleann pipes. And this also featured drum work from Kai Hato of Wintersun as their drummer. What's his name? Zuka battles insomnia, just like I am, ironically. But yeah, Endless Forms Most Beautiful, great triumphant return for Nightwish. One of the next albums I want to talk about and get out of the way is The Marvelous Missing Link, Lost by Insane Clown Posse. This album just came out a couple weeks ago, right at the end of April, beginning of May. So I guess that would put Nightwish about the end of March. Anyway, The Marvelous Missing Link, Lost, the first half of the third card of the second deck by ICP. This album, if you've ever listened to Hell's Pit by Insane Clown Posse, and you know how dark it is, multiply it by 2 and you got The Marvelous Missing Link, Lost. with tracks like Falling Apart or Vomit, and I'll Keep My Hatchet and Flamethrower. It's just ridiculous how scary this album can be, but it's really good compared to some previous releases, such as Bang Pow Boom, which I did not personally enjoy as much, or The Tempest. And definitely a step up from the Mighty Death Pop. However, I did enjoy the Mighty Death Pop a little more. So, Marvelous Missing Link Lost by Insane Clown Posse. Next, we have going back to the metal scene, we have the Finnish melodic death metal legends Ensiferum with One Man Army, and this is another triumphant return by a huge band, with another great folk melodic death metal. I don't even know what to call it, masterpiece. Continuing in tracks, sorry I can't read this, 9 and 10, the Heathen Throne saga that they've had going on since the album From Afar. This album is just great melodic masterpiece from beginning to end. The vocals and the choirs that the band provide are phenomenal. Ensiferum One Man Army, definitely another great return. This band I had actually just gotten into this year after listening to their debut album Fallen Angels Dominion, and that is Thulkandra with their album Ascension Lost. This album came out right before Juggernaut Alpha and Omega back in January. This was a pretty good start to the year. It's melodic black metal, and this particular version has their first demo on as bonus tracks, and I wasn't particularly fond of it at first. It grew on to me. I liked their debut more. However, it has grown on to me. It wouldn't be in my list of top albums of the year so far, but it's definitely worth a listen. Next, going towards the more alternative rock scene, we have Human by 3 Days Grace. And Human by 3 Days Grace is not particularly the greatest 3 Days Grace album, with Adam Gontier stepping down from vocals and Matt Walsh replacing him. It's definitely one that's going to take some time to grow. It's not a bad album, but it's not necessarily good either. I do like the singles that were released before it, Painkiller and Iron Machine. I love those. They were great. And they had my expectations a little too high for this album, which I think is one of the reasons I don't think it's that great. But it's another 3 Days Grace album, and that's all you can really say about it. So, Human by 3 Days Grace. And the last one I have on physical format to show you is In Times by Enslaved. If you listen to Vertier from a couple years back, you'll know that the first track, Thoughts Like Hammers, really just slowly chugged along with deep not growls, but deep yet menacing, I guess you could say, black metal vocals, along with a deep choir-like clean vocals. However, with In Times, in the first track, Thuria's Dreaming, it's completely the opposite. You go right into blast beats, black metal vocals, the original idea that was later era Enslaved. And it's great, clocking in at about an hour with only 6 tracks. This is a great return to form for Enslaved, I think. So, In Times by Enslaved. This will probably end up being split into a 2-part video because I'm going on to 10 minutes now. Some of the other albums I wanted to talk about really quick: Shadowmaker by Apocalyptica. No, Apocalyptica are the Finnish cello trio plus the drummer, um, that are known for having a revolving door of guest musicians on their albums, such as Dave Lombardo from Slayer, or Adam Gontier of 3 Days Grace, Brent Smith of Shinedown, Joe Duplantier from Gojira. They have this huge revolving door of guest vocalists and guest musicians. However, on this album, they stuck to them and recruited the Scars on Broadway singer. I can't remember his name. And if you don't know who Scars on Broadway are, it's Darren Malakian of System of a Down's side project, since System of a Down is not doing anything and hasn't released an album in 10 years. And it's actually very interesting, especially to hear only one singer on this entire album. And it's definitely another Apocalyptica album, but it's different. It's great. There's something about Apocalyptica that gives you something different every time, while maintaining the true essence that is Apocalyptica. So, Shadowmaker by Apocalyptica is definitely one to check out. Awaken the Fire by Like a Storm. Like a Storm have been an independent band until this year, and they've released 2 albums as an independent band. They released The End of the Beginning as their debut, which was phenomenal for an independent debut release. Then they released Chaos Theory Part 1, and it was alright. It sounded like a mediocre hard rock album. And then they released Awaken the Fire, which was Chaos Theory re-recorded, which made it sound a little bit better, a little bit more listenable, along with some new tracks, including, of all things, a cover of Coolio's Gangster's Paradise, which I thought actually turned out really well. So, if you're looking for hard rock, Like a Storm is definitely a band for you. Talk about a couple more here. Hand Cannot Erase by Steven Wilson. That's last year's. What am I doing? I'm pretty sure that was last year's. No, it was this year's. See, I'm tired, but I can't sleep. Anyway, Hand Cannot Erase by Steven Wilson. Definitely something completely different from The Raven That Refused to Sing a couple years back. The Raven That Refused to Sing was a lot of folk tunes put into progressive rock styles by Steven Wilson. This album has a lot more electronic features and is more modern with the concept, and is just another masterpiece that Steven himself has put together. So definitely make sure that's an album you check out. Let's see. The last one we'll talk about, I wasn't going to do it, but I guess we will. The Pale Emperor by Marilyn Manson. The Pale Emperor is definitely something I think that Marilyn Manson himself wanted to do years ago, but couldn't because of record labels. And you notice with his last album, Born Villain, and now especially this album, The Pale Emperor, that he's been able to do more of what he wants as an independent artist in his own style than what a record label's wanting him to do for record sales. And it's different, but a good different. So, The Pale Emperor by Marilyn Manson, go check that one out, because if you like, I would say older Marilyn Manson, but not quite. It's kind of hard for me to describe. Anyway, that's it for this video. Next video, I'm going to talk about some upcoming releases from any day after today, which is May 9th, 2015, to whatever's been announced up to December.